Welcome to The Better Life with Dr. Mariane Pinkston. Join Dr. Pinkston today as she teaches you how an integrative approach to health, combining holistic and contemporary medical information, can lead you to the better life. And now, here's your host, Dr. Mariane Pinkston.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome in. I am Dr. Mariane Pinkston, a family practitioner and integrative medicine doctor in San Antonio. And, 25 years of talking about so many different subjects. I'm always looking forward to what I can talk about next. And many of these conversations I get to have in my clinic with patients every day because, people are really looking forward to the new year, looking forward to weight loss, feeling better, getting their energy back, not feeling so old. Those are things I look forward to too. And, it is a really tough call to know exactly what it is about your health and your life that is making you feel so poorly, so bad. And so I explain to people, many, many times that it is like a big puzzle. And, when you've got that big 1,000-piece puzzle, you've got to put in all 1,000 pieces in order to complete the puzzle. So that is kind of how I relate to my patients about their health and about feeling good. Many times patients will come in and sit down and say, okay, I know it's my thyroid. If I just fix my thyroid, I'll lose weight, I'll feel great, everything will be fine. And I burst their bubble a little bit when I tell them, no, it might be your thyroid, but your thyroid is a small portion of whatever it is that you need to feel better. So we've got to work on a lot of things. It's also very typical for people to sit down and say, well, I want to lose weight in the next 3 months before I have a wedding or some big event that's coming up. And I kind of have to look at them like they have a third eye on their head and say, really your expectations of being able to turn, your health around and lose weight and do all that in a short period of time is really very unrealistic. And that's very, that really bursts everybody's bubble when I say something like that. But it's the absolute truth. And if you think about it, time is going to pass anyway. So I had somebody tell me once when I lost all the weight. So for many of you that do know or don't know, I lost 162 pounds at one point. It was 300 pounds. And the person that helped me the most, Sandy Townsend, who is up in Colorado and very available, and you contact me if you want to know about her. She works a lot with eating disorders. So, my eating disorder is not bulimia or anorexia. It's something that may surprise you. It is a thought that if I'm going to eat something knowing that it's going to hurt me, but I want it anyway, and I just think I'll start tomorrow, that's an eating disorder because you're doing something that is still going to hurt you. So she worked with me for, quite some time. I would say almost 2 years before I even lost a pound. And at one point, she really kind of opened my eyes to the fact that, I thought I was going to do it in 6 months. Let's do 162 pounds in 6 months. And she, reasoned with me and said, Mariane, it's going to take you 2 years to do this. And that's when I, looked at her like she had a third eye. And I told her, I said, well, why should it take so long? She said, you know what, don't worry about that. Just understand that 2 years is going to pass anyway. So you might as well get started, because if you don't do it this year, it's going to be 3 years, then 4 years. And that really opened my eyes to the fact that I needed to sit down and reevaluate what I'm trying to accomplish. So I try to do that with patients, and I think as a weight loss doctor, I might have the lowest success rate in the city because I don't offer just a pill or a shot or a program that I just throw at you. It's something that I really want to open your eyes to and, reconstruct your expectations about health and what you're doing and help you to understand that it isn't just a quick, fast process. That's very disappointing, but it's very true. So for 13 years, I was obese, and I had to go back and forth and, negotiate with myself about my expectations and plan and what I was really doing. And I would, lose 40 pounds, then gain 50, then lose 60, gain 70. I went back and forth for 13 years. And it's because I was looking at it from an I'm going to do this, quickly aspect, and there's an easy way out. And I'm here to tell you there is no easy way out. So what do? When you go to a doctor and you say, I want to lose weight, or let's say you go to a doctor and they look at your labs and say, well, your cholesterol's high, just lose weight and it'll go away. But they don't present you with any idea about how to do it, or a plan, or the support, or the accountability, because accountability, I'm telling you, is the biggest piece to this puzzle. So what do you do? And that is what I try to work on with patients, and it's something that I make, available to everybody. Everything that I did to lose weight, it's not a secret. I, present everybody with the different tools that I used in order to get to the place where I am now. And I tell you, it took a little more than 2 years, but every piece of the puzzle that I told you about, every piece of that puzzle is very, very important. Every step that I took to actually accomplish it is very, very important. There was a time where, my confidence was hit. My self-esteem, really struggled for a long time about, feeling so overwhelmed with the daunting process of looking forward and thinking, how am I going to get this accomplished? And being a doctor, having gone through medical school, learned absolutely nothing about weight loss and good nutrition and all of that. Then getting out and going through a fellowship and basically 10 to 12 years of extra education on top of that education from medical school, it's easy for me to sit and tell somebody else how to do it, but it wasn't so easy for me to tell myself. I'm not very objective about it. So I really think that going through that process myself has made me a much better doctor, a much better listener, and a lot more able to guide people through what they're supposed to do, and also deal with the feelings and the fears and the things that you go through, not wanting to let go of food, not wanting to let go of birthday cake on your birthday, and things that really disappoint people about having to change their life. And having understood that now and the empathy for it, I think that makes it a lot better. So I'm going to start a series, I think, now I've had a lot of guests on my show for the last year. I've been doing this almost a year now. And I've had a lot of great guests and telling a lot of inspiring stories, and I will have more to come. But I'm going to spend some time on the mic alone, more so from here on out, in order to help guide people through some ideas about changing their life. And you may not want to lose weight entirely. You may just want to get into shape. And getting into shape, usually involves a couple of pounds. But what I want to do is help you reconstruct your life and try to get to the better life. That's why I call the show The Better Life, is because it's different for everybody. Better life means a lot of different things to people. So, in order to incorporate everybody's ideas about that together, I think hitting it from the get well and lose weight and New Year's resolution and, all those things that we do at the beginning of the year to think that we're going to get this over with and done finally, kind of straightens some of people's perspectives and expectations about how to do it. This year, I want to mention, before I go too much further into the topic, I want to mention that I am very, very lucky to have some great sponsors. So I have added a new sponsor to my repertoire here. Pinnacle Research, Pinnacle Clinical Research is a research foundation with Dr. Harrison, who is a world-renowned, as far as I'm concerned, hepatologist, and he's here in San Antonio. And so something that people don't really understand about the world and health is that fatty liver, which we are going to spend some time on this topic in the future. Fatty liver is a very, very critical and up-and-coming disease that has not been dealt with in our society for very long, but has been around for long enough to cause some people to have significant liver disease, but it's very silent. And 1 in 3 middle-aged people are suffering from fatty liver disease and have no idea that they have it. So I want to let you know that if you're concerned about this, you can schedule an appointment. It's a FibroScan. It's a free appointment. It's a free scan. No insurance needed. For treatment therapy, you may, but you can schedule that with Pinnacle Clinical Research. And so there's 2 numbers I'm going to give you. From San Antonio, 210-529-7978. 210-529-7978. And in Austin, I have some Austin listeners with YouTube and all, it's 512-601-5788, pinnacleresearch.com. That'll all be on my website, so thank you guys for helping me out. All right, so back to better life, losing weight, fixing yourself, all those things. I think one of the things that people don't understand about what has happened to us, so if you look way, way back in the time and age of our grandparents, or those of us who are in our 50s and above, when we were in high school, we could eat anything we want. We could drop weight. We never really gained weight. We looked around us and we were eating a lot of different things, but nobody was really as obese as they are now. And so what happened? Why did this happen? Our bodies now are inflamed more so than they were before. So inflammation is at the heart of your problem. If you wake up in the morning and you're like, why I've been working so hard at trying to lose weight? Why can't I lose weight? It's because of inflammation. It's something that you really think you can't see, but you can. So when you look at your feet at the end of the day and they're puffy and swollen, when you stand in the mirror and you turn to the side and you're looking at your belly and you're thinking, I've got this pot belly. It's a beer belly. No, it's not a beer belly. It's an inflammatory belly. When you feel tired all day, when you are unable, like I say, to put all your efforts in and unable to drop weight, or when you're dropping weight but hit plateaus. Those are the things that signal to you that you have inflammation. When you go to your doctor and they look over your labs. Now, most doctors don't check labs quite like I do. There's a lot of different ways to look for inflammation in your labs, but the labs that doctors check these days are very simple and don't really show the amount of inflammation that we're dealing with. So there are ways to expand your laboratory and look for those things. But on lab, I can see it very, very clearly. If your blood sugar, if your doctor hands you your labs and your blood sugar is above 85, fasting or not. Most people, if they had eaten right before they came in, might run into the upper 90s, maybe low 100s, but even that is pushing it a bit. And the American Diabetes Association says, after you've eaten, it should be less than 140, and I'm telling you, that is way too high. So for people who are non-diabetic, that's for people who are diabetics. For people who are non-diabetic, you really should be less than 110. Looking at your insulin levels. So insulin, fasting or not, should be below 12. Some people might creep into 15 if they had just eaten, but even then that's beginning to push it. Your triglycerides. If your triglycerides really are over 100, and I'm being very, very strict on these numbers, having eaten or not, those are signs that your body is inflamed. You may not have diabetes yet, you may not have truly high cholesterol, but those are signals that for people who don't have those diseases, that you're running a little high. San Antonio allergies are getting to me. So, when we run these labs and look at things, I look at a lot of different things like vitamins and minerals. So I look at your B vitamins, your D vitamins, your magnesium, your potassium. I also will look at your hormones, looking at your thyroid and your testosterone and estrogen, and I look at both of those numbers in both men and women. Also try to look at kidney function, liver function, like I just mentioned with fatty liver. All these are signals that you've been eating poorly for a very, very long time. And the reason why all this is happening now differently as it was to before, if you think about it, in the 90s, that is when Monsanto created Roundup and it started being applied to crops and fields and to our food. That's also when we started worrying about the population and world hunger, and we started opening up ways of creating more food in a small space. We overgrow our soil. We plant things one right after the other out of season. We plant indoors and we do hydroponics and all these crazy ways of growing. We don't let the soil, become full of vitamins and minerals again, through a season of thunderstorms until we replant. There's a lot of different practices that we are doing. We also are eating the wrong foods and fast foods, convenience. Those things are out there. Saturated fats, trans fats, although saturated fats are horrible, but trans fats definitely are. So all of these things have applied to us to make us, gain more weight. The last thing that I really want to mention, that I've mentioned many times before, is about stress. So stress, your adrenal glands, your cortisol levels, those are things that also interfere with your body's ability to correct its thyroid, to sleep well. Sleep is insanely important to losing weight and building muscle and getting well rested so you have the energy for the next day. So cortisol interrupts all of these functions, and it also interrupts the function of our gut. So Gut is going to be a show that I have in the near future, and everybody's really interested. I think it's finally hitting that, we do have gut problems. Leaky gut is what it's called. And I invite you to take a look at that. Josh Axe, so DRAXE.com, has a lot of great information on leaky gut that you can follow. So I, talk to you about diet, talk to you about the things that have affected us from the past and, made us more inflamed these days, a little bit about labs, a little bit about stress, a little bit about sleep. So that comes back around to my point that it's a big puzzle and there are many, many different pieces. I think the last thing that is really important about trying to improve your life and lose weight and things like that is the fact that we have lost accountability completely. We have generally lost our ability to keep ourselves accountable and stop self-sacrificing, to try to throw ourselves under the bus every time we decide to blow off a good diet and have a big weekend or whatever it is we decide to do. I think that, among everything, is the biggest problem that we have these days. So I'm going to expand on that just a little bit in just a few minutes. We're going to take a short break, and I thank you for joining me.
Fatty liver is linked to two different situations, alcohol and diabetes or obesity. In both cases, patients can have no symptoms. In the United States, and in particular, Texas, the most common cause of liver disease in general is non-alcoholic fatty liver. Again, associated with overweight, obesity, and/or diabetes. Additional risk factors include high cholesterol, high blood pressure, Hispanic ethnicity, and postmenopausal status. At Pinnacle Clinical Research, we offer a quick, non-invasive ultrasound-based screening assessment called FibroScan. This test is done at no cost to you, and we do not take insurance. The test will measure the fat and stiffness in your liver and stage your risk and development of fatty liver disease. You will meet with a provider immediately following your scan to go over your results. If you're interested in getting more information on your liver health, please call 210-982-0320 and schedule your FibroScan today. We are conveniently located in the Medical Center at 5109 Medical Drive.
Hello, welcome back. I'm Dr. Mariane Pinkston. I've been talking a little bit about the craziness of inflammation and trying to lose weight and accountability and all these great things that we wake up every morning and promise ourselves that we're going to take care of and do. And then another year goes by and we don't. And so, it's been no secret. Again, I will tell you, I've lost 162 pounds over the last several years. I've kept that weight off for 4 years too. And I think it's because I finally got it through my head that I needed to make some serious changes in my life and face my weight problem from a very different aspect. And that's what I want to share with you, because I think most of you are going through the exact same thing that I did. And that was 13 years of negotiating, getting some results, and then, putting myself under the bus and saying, well, I did it. Maybe I can just eat, the way I want to eat now and let it go, or I'm just tired. I don't want to work it on anymore. Whatever it is we do. So that is what I want to, in effect, give you guys some help with today, and that is to build up your accountability and then build up your support too. So if you are, looking at making these big changes and you're looking forward and thinking this is a very daunting task, I've got a lot of work to do, you're right about that, but you need to make it a great process of self-discovery. You need to really look at your relationship with food. Your relationship with food is that it increases the hormone dopamine in your brain. It gives you pleasure. It makes you feel good. It makes you want to get up and go get it again. It creates an addiction, in essence. So there was a great study done, I don't know about study, but he quoted a study that mentioned this, Mark Hyman, who is an integrative doctor and somebody I follow very regularly. You should follow him, he's wonderful. And he mentioned that they have shown in studies now that people who, have food addictions, and yes, that is you, before they even get up off the couch, when they first have the idea that they want to get something, good to eat, their insulin already starts to spike. Their dopamine already starts to spike. And that's what gets you into a habit of craving and wanting. When your insulin goes up, before you even eat anything, it's taking sugar that's in your blood already, which is already probably too high, and it's shoving that sugar into fat, and I guess in essence making you, ready to receive more sugar on top of that. So you literally, when you say, I gain weight just looking at a birthday cake, you are absolutely correct. That is absolutely what happens. And that's, that to me is insanity, that our bodies and our hormones and food can run us like that and control our vision for ourselves and how we control ourselves. It is an addiction. So if you're looking for a quick pill to help you stop craving, if you're looking for, a shot to just help you drop weight, you have got to face that addiction first. Much like anybody who has an addiction to alcohol or gambling or anything, it is absolutely the same thing. And you have to go through all of those same steps in order to realize that food is the enemy, food is hurting you, and you can no longer partake in it. And I tease my patients at the office all the time when I talk to them about this. I tell them that I divorced food. 5 years ago, I made the decision, that was it. I wasn't going to let food control me anymore. And it really was just a flip in my brain. Now, it took me 2 years building up to it to learn why I felt the way I felt, why I wanted these foods, why all this was happening to me. But once I understood it all, I literally just said, that's it. I called my lawyer, got out the divorce papers, and that was it. It was over for food. And that is what you have to do, and you have to face it that way. All of these foods, all of these behaviors of stress, all of this lack of sleeping caused from, stress, all of these things, come together. The industry, the food industry especially, all these things come together to cause you to be very inflamed underneath. And whatever it is that you throw at trying to lose weight, it is very resistant and it's not going to happen. So that's why if I give you a pill, a shot, or just a simple diet, it's not going to work. The thing that you have to go back and do, and this is kind of how I'm going to end this all, the thing that you have to go back and do is really look at your eating. Patients will also sit in front of me and say, I've been exercising and I eat great. I don't know why I'm not losing weight. When I ask them how they're eating, they tell me, well, I intermittent fast. I only have one meal a day. Or I have dropped all the carbs out of my diet and I went on the keto diet and I eat only, meat and bacon and cheese and all of that. They think they're eating well, and there's so many more examples. They think they're eating well, and that's not eating well. Dropping your calories too far, not getting enough protein, all of those things are incredibly, important to helping you fail at losing weight. The other thing that happens is people will say, I'm exercising like crazy and I'm eating decent, but they think that exercising is what's going to bring them out of a weight problem. And you cannot out-exercise a bad diet. It's just not possible. That is not a term that I have coined. It's been said over and over, and it has never, ever been more true. So I want to wrap up for a minute and just let you guys know that I am very lucky to have Pinnacle Clinical Research as a sponsor, and they are offering free fibro scans. So here in San Antonio, it's 210-529-7978, and that will be on my website, and I will have them on there. Please go look, and that is drpbetterlife.com, where you can look and find the YouTube link and the iTunes and Spotify, and I'm on all social media, not social media, but on all of the podcast media. I'm on social media too, so you can find me there as well. Dr. Pinkston's radio show or Mariane Pinkston. So I invite you guys to go and take a look and find some of this information about me, some of my other sponsors, PD Labs and Pinnacle Research, and also too, you are able to reach out and contact me about information, about supplements, about things like that. I just want to let you know I cannot give specific information and medical therapy and treatment for you individually, but I can give you definitely general information. I'm happy to do so. Everybody needs somebody in their life that's in their corner to inspire them, and so I am always happy to do so. So contact at pinkstonsa.com is a place where you can reach me. My office manager finds those emails as well. All right, good luck, guys. Put your bootstraps on and start thinking about some of the things that you need to do to change your life, because we all want a better life, and it's out there. You can find it. I did. And thank you very much.